Well, greetings, business communication students. This is Mr. Doucette. This is week number 7 in our BCOT247 class here at Cerritos College. This week, you're going to start your writing assignments. So this is an exciting transition. I believe that we ended module number 1 right before spring break, and now we're back and we're going to dive into our basically our writing assignments. Even though we covered a little bit about business writing in the weeks past, we're going to definitely be looking at different ways in which we write in the business environment, and then we're going to be actually doing some writing assignments. So this week you're actually going to write a blog. You're going to mimic an instant message conversation with a reporter, and you're also going to do a tweet. And you're going to see how those three pieces kind of fit together in a business and how they're utilized in businesses today. So that's kind of what we'll be looking at this week. Chapter 5 kind of deals with emails and letters and kind of what the purpose of all those are, but it also gets into blogging and podcasting and all those other means in which we communicate. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing that screen and go ahead and go to our class here in Canvas. So here we are. We're looking at module number 2, which we just started, I think. Yeah, it started kind of during spring break, or it's actually starting right now. Module number 1 ended with an exam. Then we had spring break. So really it starts 3/24, but I have it as 3/17. Either way, there is going to be a Zoom session this Thursday, very important. And that Zoom session is going to be me talking about business writing and how important it is, what I'll be looking for, how it's so different than writing an essay, and how it looks and how it reads, etc. So very important that you attend this Zoom session if you can. If you cannot, then I will record it and it will be available, but you must watch it. And I'm going to probably in the future, because enough students aren't watching, I'm going to make it worth points to watch it. But I'm not doing that now, but trust me, if you watch it, you will be fully equipped in doing the writing assignments and getting good grades. Not only that, but I will also complete this do's and don'ts of business writing, your discussion post number 2. I will cover all of that in this Zoom session. So make sure you watch it. Make sure that you take what I'm teaching in it and what I use to instruct you, and that you apply that to your writing assignments in this class and really from here on out in your career. So there is a PowerPoint on chapter 5, so make sure you read that, read the chapter in your book. There's a check-in assignment on chapter 5 with a few questions about the chapter. There's a quiz, which you can take multiple times. It's really just to kind of get you acquainted with the kinds of questions that will be on the exam, as well as making sure you're understanding them. And then you do have your discussion post number 2. You'll have 4 weeks or so to complete this. So get started. The idea, again, is very much like the first one, where you make an initial list of your do's and don'ts of business writing, and then you view and comment on other students' lists, and then you make your final list on the last week or after you've done the other 2. Don't do your final list first. You'll lose points right away for that. Make sure it's an initial list, typically separated by a date, and then your comments on other students, maybe a different date on those, and then your final list, maybe the last week before the assignment is due. Now that you've refined your list based off of what you've learned and what I've commented on your writing assignments, as well as what other students have said. So this is really meant to be a progressive assignment, this discussion post. It doesn't happen at once. You do a little bit here all the way through the session or the module, and you're continuing to improve on it. That's the idea. And then you have your writing assignments. I'm going to open that because this one is a little different and some people get a little confused. So basically, it's a 3-part writing assignment. You're the director of social media for Apple, and your job is to keep the Apple brand and an image positive and among its constituents and social media. However, a memo that the sales manager sent out got somehow inadvertently sent to a shady, scrupulous, unethical reporter who wants to say a bunch of bad things about Apple. And so that memo is actually down here, so you can see what he received. And it's talking about West Coast sales and East Coast sales. West Coast sales are doing great. East Coast sales aren't going so great, etc. So your job is to kind of manage this crisis It all starts with this reporter reaching out to you and saying, "Hey, I heard that Apple's going to be laying off or firing a bunch of people because the memo does say if things don't change on the East Coast, there may be cutbacks." So they take that and they expand on it and exaggerate. So now you're going to have a message, a conversation with this reporter who's constantly going to be digging for information. Now you have to create the dialogue. The only sentence I give you or the only comment I give you is from the reporter, and that is right here. "Hey, I heard Apple's in trouble and may fire a bunch of people. What can you tell me?" So then you have to respond to that. Then you have to create the reporter's next question, and then you respond to that. So you're kind of setting him up. You can set the questions up that in such a way that you're able to answer them. But this needs to be a five exchange conversation, five from the reporter and five responses from you. So 10 altogether. That's the first part of the assignment. And again, you're supposed to divert. The idea here is as you're writing for Apple, you're trying to point to the good news, you're trying to point to the positives and not dwell in the weeds of the negatives, right? Because business writing is meant to be positive and conversational. So that's the first part of the assignment. Second part is you need to create a blog. Now, what are blogs used for? Blogs are used to inform large constituents or large audiences of people of what's going on, right? So you don't have to mention the leaked memo. You can just mention all the good things happening at Apple. And however, a blog needs to have a certain format, and I've given you some samples down the bottom here of a couple of blogs. There's one right here. If you notice, they have a catchy title. They have a graphic of some sort. They utilize text design in their layout to make them look really neat and visual. Blogs are extremely visual, so you want to make it appealing, visually appealing. It shouldn't just be a paragraph of text. That's it. You're in big trouble if you do that. Even a picture in a paragraph of text, you should make it a visually appealing. That's a blog, and that's what I'm looking for in this. It needs to be 100 to 200 words long, and then a tweet. And so basically what companies will do is they use a blog to inform their constituents at large, and then they sent a tweet to all of their followers directing them to their blog. But a tweet needs to be very short, 140 characters. That's letters and spaces, not words. 140 letters and spaces total. So it's very short and it's concise and it's to drive people to your blog. And that's kind of the idea. So you should have a hashtag for your blog. But these are the three parts of the assignment. So an instant message exchange with the reporter, a blog telling the news you want your constituents to know, and then a tweet directing people, all of your followers, to go to the blog or to your website. So that's the assignment. And it is your first writing assignment, and it should be very visually appealing, especially the blog. The instant message doesn't matter that much, and the tweet doesn't matter that much, but the blog should be visually appealing. So keep that in mind as you create it, and I'm looking for that in this assignment. So, all right, well, that's pretty much it for week number 7. If you have any questions or concerns, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I have office hours at Norco, but I'll set a time up with you if you need to meet in Zoom. If not, we can handle it over text or email. But until next week, everybody, have a great week, and I will see you all then.